Human ecology and its ecosystem are basic concepts for sustainable development. Changing the manners in which we develop and how we use our resources is a way to adapt to the challenges posed by climate change. But understanding the ecosystem and the most important resource of human is essential in developing a sustainable present and future environment. An ecosystem is a geographical region where thousand varieties of plants, animals, and other species cohabit with the weather and landscape to form a living circle. Ecosystems are made up of both biotic, living, and abiotic, non-living elements. Water is a highly essential part of life itself. It is the most crucial aspect in maintaining a positive image of any ecosystem. Water helps living organisms to grow and survive in their environment. Thus, in some living things, like amphibians, insects, and other living organisms, water serves as their temporary shelter and breeding ground.
Humans can survive for several weeks without food but cannot survive without water. In simple words, a human can do without almost anything but water. What's the big deal? Water is used every day in nearly all aspects of our lives. In drinking, showering, cooking, washing dishes, clothes, or foods, or other household, recreational, and commerce activities and needs. This makes it our precious resource of survival. But how does water contribute to the human body? Water makes up a majority of our body weight and is greatly involved in many important body functions. It is essential for our health as it helps us flush out waste from our body, properly regulate our body temperature, organs, and tissues, carry nutrients and oxygen to cells, helps our brain function properly, and of course, keeps us hydrated. That is why we should be cautious about what we do with our water sources. We shouldn't let anthropogenic effects go any further, and let's be mindful of our usage. To thoroughly understand what we are talking about, this video walks you through exactly.
The oceans are being used as a massive industrial latrine. Industries regularly discharge enormous amounts of human waste, one of the most dangerous toxins, into the water supply. Water availability and quality can be significantly impacted by the construction and continued operation of power plants, particularly those driven by fossil fuels. Numerous dangerous synthetic compounds that cannot be broken down at all by natural processes have been purposefully added to our water supplies. Even in very small doses, some of these substances have the capacity to cause severe harm to humans, plants, and animals. We are no stranger with the anthropogenic effects on the water cycle. As this past decade, we have witnessed many diseases that are all directly related to the presence of hazardous substances in our bodies of water. The Ebola outbreak shows this, as the impact of this infectious disease on the world, especially in West Africa, is enormous. A total of 28,616 EBD and 11,310 deaths were reported in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. Of these three countries, an additional 36 cases and 15 deaths were reported as the outbreak spread globally. The cause of this is the mishandling of waste produced by humans, which accumulates through food, drink, and crops assisted by the streams of water. Another example is the Citarum River, located in one of the most busiest places in Indonesia, near the capital of Jakarta. For years, Citarum River has been the main dumping site of dangerous chemicals, dyes, and other hazardous waste caused by the textile industry. The river is also a source of irrigation for Indonesia's valuable crops. Many people and animals have died and are nutritionally deficient due to the accumulation of toxicity within the Citarum River.
Human activity nearly usually spreads invasive species. People and things may now travel the world more easily because of growing industries of trade and tourism, and they frequently bring invasive species with them either unintentionally or on purpose. Many invasive species, including dogs, cats, rats, and pigs, were introduced by early explorers. For example, Norway rats, sometimes known as brown rats, were first discovered in China and later expanded by stowing away on ships during the 18th century to the Pacific Islands. By consuming local species and disseminating fatal illnesses, this can cause harm to the ecosystem. Invasive species are one of the leading causes of global biodiversity loss. They can damage native habitats, spread diseases, and cause extinctions. As an example, species of lionfish native to the South Pacific and Indian Ocean have quickly spread throughout the Atlantic, Gulf of Mexico, and Caribbean. Urban legend has it that the invasion started during 1992, when Hurricane Andrew smashed a beachside aquarium on the coast of Florida, spilling its contents into the sea. It is more likely, however, that there have been a number of separate introductional events that have caused the spread of lionfish outside the native waters. As their name suggests, lionfish are fierce predators who prey on native fish species, and they can cause economic damage to fisheries and put coral reef ecosystems at risk. Our awareness of our impacts on nature is spreading. There is a lot of evidence to indicate that human activity is the cause of local and global water cycle disturbances and alterations. By building dams to store water and taking water for domestic, commercial, and agricultural uses, humans actively alter the dynamics of the water cycle. Some of these uses, such as making hydroelectricity, irrigation, causing deforestation, greenhouse effect, driving vehicles, and raising livestock, can impact the water cycle. Trees usually release water vapor, which creates localized humidity when they transpire. Following its evaporation into the atmosphere, this water vapor condenses before falling back to Earth as rain, sleet, or snow. As a result, deforestation in one location can impact the weather in another, since fewer trees means less water evaporates into the sky, leading to less rain. The land gets drier and less stable at the local level. Areas may become more vulnerable to drought and flooding, affecting plants, animals, and people close to deforested areas. The burning of fossil fuels and other human activities impact the rise in Earth's temperature. As the Earth's temperature rises, more water evaporates from the atmosphere, more land and sea ice melts, and other water cycle activities are impacted, all of which harm the planet's climate.
Aquatic and marine life is threatened by human activity. Shark finning, overfishing, inadequate protection, tourism, shipping, oil and gas, pollution, aquaculture, and climate change are the main anthropogenic dangers to marine life. These are the kinds of things that led to the extinction of water animals and plants. By 2048, humans will have woolly depleted the fish stocks. According to scientists, people should cease harming marine and oceanic species to preserve the marine ecosystem. The legal and regulatory structures that offer some protection for other non-human creatures to frequently exclude aquatic species. Too little is known about the welfare of aquatic animals and the environmental, health, and safety concerns related to their use and production. Likewise, the public and policymakers have to limit access to the rapidly growing scientific data on aquatic animals. Aquatic creatures play a crucial part in the ecosystem. Therefore, while making decisions that will affect their lives, it is vital to consider their specific capacities and biological requirements.
Water is a limited resource, and there is no currently more available than there was when the planet first formed. By making minor changes and incorporating water conservation into our daily routines, we can manage and use water resources responsibly. Water conservation results in energy and financial savings. Keeping drinking water sources safe is a good method to improve consumer confidence, lower public health concerns, and manage the cost of water treatment. There are numerous additional environmental and socio-economic advantages to addressing water quality issues at the source in addition to those gained from treatment alone. Prevention is the least expensive method of water protection, preventing water pollution and overuse in the first place. Our health, our way of life, and the cost of future water treatment will all improve if we can maintain the pure water as it travels through our watershed.
It is best to start practicing sustainability as a way of living as architecture students to integrate it in our style of architecture in the future. By changing the way we live, we can deepen our understanding on how great our impact is on the oceans. There are ways to change the way we live to benefit the water bodies, and the most obvious answer and the most effective is managing our water usage. Things like showering, cleaning, cooking, and laundry work are some of the daily tasks that include water. And by managing the amount of water we consume on a daily basis, we can change the routine to help the environment. As architecture students, it is up to us to step up to the task of saving the environment, and this includes the water bodies. By changing the way we look at building materials, we can help the environment. Things like using recycled materials in place of brand new ones, and avoiding chemically treated textiles are some of the ways that we, as architecture students, can help marine life.